Fourth hijacked plane, possibly being diverted to the Washington area, crashed about 80 miles from Pittsburgh in southwestern Pennsylvania.
A plane crash reported in Somerset County.
At about 9 a.m., a United Airlines flight on its way from Newark to San Francisco crashes in a rural area of western Pennsylvania.
They received a phone call from a man who identified himself as a passenger of the flight en route to San Francisco from Newark. The caller said the plane was being hijacked.
At 9:35, United 93 veered from its planned flight route and headed back towards Washington. With the World Trade Center towers already on fire, the jet's erratic movements were enough to convince controllers that this plane, too, had been hijacked.
The pilot refused to hurl his plane on Washington and crashed in a field instead.
In the last part of first class, and that the flight was fairly light, not very many passengers, 45 people aboard.
It just come down like it was going to land, but instead of landing, it just went nose straight into
10
the ground.
o'clock, New York City. The South Tower of the World Trade Center collapses, raining debris onto the street.
10 o'clock Eastern Time, the first of the towers collapsed. It created a fog of dust and smoke and showering lower Manhattan with glass and other debris.
One of our country's most recognizable landmarks crumbles before our eyes.
They advise us to leave because we have...
Oh my God. Look behind us. Please pan in this way. Please be careful of your baby. This is it.
That's the building coming down.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
9:59, as the Pentagon burns, the South Tower of the World Trade Center buckles and collapses.
There are a large number of firefighters and police officers who are in harm's way, and we don't know how many we've lost.
Less than 30 minutes later, as evacuations continue, the North Tower falls.
10:29, the second Trade Center tower collapses. An American landmark is in ruins.
Here it comes. I'm getting behind a car.
Thousands feared dead, lower Manhattan shrouded in smoke and debris.
The other tower collapses. A hailstorm of debris, dust making it look like a nuclear winter.
Oh my God, there it goes!
Less than an hour later, the South Tower came crumbling down.
It collapsed. The top floors collapsed down. I saw it blow and then ran like hell, thank God.
But it was far from over.
Tower 2 collapsed into Tower 1. Within minutes after that, we were ordered out.
Covering the streets of lower Manhattan, there are reports of bodies buried beneath 2 feet of soot.
I was looking in the viewfinder, and I just saw this reverse mushroom cloud billowing down, and I realized my proximity, and immediately just turned and started running north.
The numbers that describe the big picture of this tragedy are too great to fully comprehend. Almost 5,000 missing or dead at the World Trade Center.
Created a kind of tornado effect in the canyons of Manhattan. A number of the NBC News correspondents were trapped, many of them in grave danger, as well as a lot of rescue workers, obviously, and other people who were in that area. And there are reports that between 200 and 300 firemen are missing who were in there at the time trying to rescue personnel.
You hear the sound, and then the building starts falling down in slow motion. And I'm a photographer. The initial reaction was to raise the camera and take a picture, but something up here said, just run. And in the 20-plus years I've been doing this, I've never once run from anything. But it probably saved my life.
10:28 a.m. and the North Tower, choked with smoke and flames from its upper floors, disintegrates.
The second tower, weakened by the crash, collapsed, filling the skies above the city with a fine gray dust.
And stood there for an hour and 20 minutes. Both of those buildings stood there for an hour and 20 minutes until the heat of the conflagration then was more than the upper portions of those buildings could sustain.
We don't have any lights, so let me...
Oh, no!
Then that tower collapses too.
You could feel a collective shudder as it all came crashing down.
and the voices of those at Ground Zero.
As the day ended in New York City, another skyscraper in the World Trade Center complex crumbled. Building number 7, 47 stories high.
Building number 7, which is also attached to that area, collapsed.
A nearby building collapses from the day's damage.
You are watching Building 7 at the World Trade Center collapse.
Late afternoon, New Yorkers are evacuating lower Manhattan by the thousands. Parts of the city unrecognizable. A third building at the Trade Center, this one 47 stories, collapses. At Bellevue Hospital, an official says, quote, "It is a catastrophe of unparalleled proportions."
New York's bravest never had a chance.
We really never even got to that close to the building. An explosion blew and it knocked everybody over.
The World Trade Centers are completely and totally gone.
Gotta move back.
Smoke and ash from the destruction combined to make parts of New York City look like ancient Pompeii after the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Rescue firemen were coated with thick white dust.
Get out of here! Get out of here!
You okay, officer?
Standing next to One World Trade Center, and then all of a sudden I heard rumbling and we all started running away from it. The glass like blew out and threw me onto the sidewalk, and I couldn't see for like 20 seconds.
We came from the 82nd floor, and I don't know where my peers are. I don't know. I hope to God they're okay. That's all I can say. I don't know what. We saw a shadow. It looked like a plane. Next thing we know, it was boom, boom, and the floor started shaking.
Right behind us.
Oh my God, this is so terrible.
Public health officials and other local officials to make sure that all their needs are being met. It is a sad day, but America and all of its citizens certainly share tonight in the grief that it's been caused. And as the President and everybody in his administration have said, we, the government, will continue to operate and continue to provide the services to all Americans.
One of the most cherished freedoms is the freedom of
stories start to emerge, and we see more people and we hear more names. It'll become a lot more real to me. But right now, I feel like I'm still in the bubble of the day, and the whole experience is just kind of numbing.
Can't go back right now.
Many were at a loss as to where to go.
Cars were under blankets of ash. Rescuers were just happy to be alive. As for the death toll, even tonight, there were no hard numbers. But New York Mayor Rudolph Giuliani feared it might extend into the thousands.
200 firefighters are feared to be dead. Many are missing. And still, the rescue effort has barely begun.
The mass evacuation from Lower Manhattan continued throughout the day. New York is a city in lockdown. With no mass transit to the area, workers and residents set off on foot. Thousands walked across the Brooklyn and Manhattan bridges, as well as the northbound lanes of the FDR Drive. Anxious to get out of harm's way, many looking forward to reaching the safety of home.
When the towers showed signs of collapsing, they scrambled to escape. Most made it, but some couldn't get out fast enough. Exactly how many, we may not know.
The impact, I thought it was a bomb. Just lifted everybody off our seats.
I need to help my co-workers out, okay? I'm telling you.
It was an earthquake. We were on the 10th floor. The whole thing was shaking, swaying like you wouldn't believe. Then we all went into the hallways. We ran down the stairs.
A roar of an explosion and all kinds of smoke billowing out, debris falling down, people running, the firefighters and police screaming at everyone to run as the debris was coming down and hitting people. It's just total chaos.
Hundreds of New York City firefighters already have lost their lives.
They are pictures we are used to seeing from far away. Children wearing masks, families displaced by terrorism. Somehow it just doesn't compute in this country.
Firefighters, exhausted policemen. And then in this eerie disconnect in New York, occasionally you see people just succumbing to the everyday and walking by.
Among the victims, hundreds of firefighters and police who tried to save the people trapped in those doomed towers.
And people still working on the evacuation.
Working on evacuation, yes, but they were forcing, at the point I was there, the police were forcing everyone from emergency workers to the firemen away because there was such a fear, as you saw later, of a building collapse.
For comfort, for peace of mind, for justice.
As far as